Well, good day. I did a couple different designs right here. For right here, to start with, I put the scale here along the lane. I put it right here along the lane. Not exactly sure on your driveway width here, but we would need to have, this is actually a little wider than it would need to be. We actually only need to have enough room for a truck to go past the scale here. So with the scale being the overall width of everything here being 14 foot, we would need a 28-foot driveway minimum right here where the scales is. So you would need 14 foot minimum to drive alongside, 14 foot for the scale. I would say 14 foot for the scale and probably closer to 20 foot alongside, but your trucks will be straight till they get to this, so it don't need to be real wide alongside the scale. Like right through here, it don't need to be real wide, just 18 foot would be enough. And then you figure about 14 foot for the scale overall. So it'd be nice if the trucks could come in through, hit a button, or whatever they need to do to get their weight, and then your existing two bins, any expansion would just go out this way. Now I didn't put all the details in yet because it takes a lot of time to put details in, so I wanted to we want to come up with a layout that we're going with before I put the details in and spec stuff. So I just set stuff in place at this point, and I placed this shop according to the measurements, and that's what I did there. Now I placed that shop according to the measurements on these first two bins. Yeah, those first two bins are existing. Then you'd add out here. If you wanted smaller bins for soybeans or edible beans, I would put them across the drive here, but this is tight. We could maybe put some here and then convey across to them. Not real sure. I couldn't get this design to come together right without taking this shop and moving it back. So I'm not sure how to get this to come together without taking the shop and moving it back here farther. So to make this design work, I would almost need to take the shop and move it back like this, like something like this. That way we could move these two bins up here. That's the one option. To have it setting where the measurements showed, I couldn't get it to come together to have smaller bins right here. And you're going to see on what we're going to get to here, what I'm talking about. So to make it work, we'd have to move the shop back. Then the other option would be to go this route. This was my first alternative, so that we're not over behind this other house here. I don't know if that matters. I know this is your land, but just I just mirrored the shop. Now what I did was I changed the design slightly. All I did was mirrored it. So these big doors would be out this way, and your single door would be here. This way here, we can leave everything like it is, just put the shop back there and have 30,000 bushel bins here. These are drawn as 30,000 bushel bins, but they could be 20 or 30,000 bushel bins in a row here for soybeans. They actually can be anywhere from 20 to 40,000 bushel at that diameter. We would, again, if we ever needed more than 2 bins over here, we really should push this shop back to the south a little. Yeah, to the south a little bit. So I'm going to say these first 2 designs are my preference. Either the shop over here and push it that way more, or the shop here and push it that way more. I actually really like this layout right here. I really like this. Then the other option would be is to put the shop out here. Now, I don't like this layout of having the shop out here. You have just the layout of the shop and everything. I don't like this because it just seems out in the middle of nowhere, away from everything. It just don't look like a plan. This would work. This gives a lot of room for expansion on the grain system. It gives lots of room for expansion on the grain system, but in a way, I mean, yeah, you're not looking at having this much storage here, but I would figure double the storage, keep this shop back far enough, east far enough that if you're gonna have it in this configuration, you want it east far enough that you can have 4 bins here. We could move it. We could actually move the shop west here a little bit. We don't want to go too far because we want to be able to come around here and back in. So that would be a route we could go. What I'm going to do is I'm going to say this is design 1, laid out like you asked, but I would recommend pushing the shop south. And then, I'll put all, once we get an idea, I can put all measurements to this. And then this will be design 2. And then this would be design 3. I don't really care for this design. I think you're better off with one or 2. But either way, 1 or 2, we should really push the shop south a little bit. And this design here might be the nicest, because if we push this shop west a little so that we have room to put these bins here and still have room for trucks to drive through here, this here might actually end up being the nicest, but we just got to push it west a little, so long as we have it that we have room here for getting a truck in through there. So yeah, that's where we're at. I drew up the shop according to that quote with the details in that quote as close as I could. So there we have it. Oh, there's a couple flaws yet in the drawing, like these trucks are up in the air. I didn't get them set right, but those details I'll go through once we have a layout. So whichever layout you want me to work at perfecting, whether it's design 1, then I will get into more details. Design 2, or design 3. And then I'll get into a little more details once I know for sure which one you want. I will go into more details then and get things spec'd out a little more specific.